into this.
Yeah. Dan helped us out with the drywall. The drywall should have cost $20,000 to do, but it only cost 10 because of Dan's connections and personal labor to the project. And yeah, I'm really thankful to have met Dan and his story too. I find it so touching that somebody who's basically been able to walk through difficult times in his life and become successful here in our town as a business person in construction and has a great heart to help others, and like Dan says, knows how it feels.
Absolutely. I'd like to actually thank you, Ron, for approaching me with this. This was something that I didn't know was going on until you actually approached me on it. So the minute you approached me and asked me, as you know, I got excited and off we went. So it was my pleasure to be able to help you, the community, to the church, to give back to all the people that are in need. Absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you, because you're part of the COG, Dan, that's basically completed the building, and I'm very grateful to have met you. And I think God sometimes intertwines us, I think, with the people that we need to be together with in order to create something good.
Absolutely. We're here for a reason. Helping one another is the biggest one.
Yeah. That's the way I feel too. Thanks again, Dan.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, I have Randy Hawes here with me. He's the mayor of Mission, previous MLA. And I've had the pleasure of actually knowing Randy for some dozen or more years. Yeah. And have very much enjoyed his friendship and his assistance in the construction of this building. So Randy, why would you find it, or why do you find it important that this structure is done, and how do you find it impacts our community?
Ron, I guess the first thing I'd say is I needed to find it important for me personally because you found it so important, and I've got a lot of respect for you. So that would be the first thing I guess I would say. But some time ago, when Patrick was running the food bank downstairs here, he got me to come and take a look at what was going on and to spend one Thursday there, Thursday morning. And I could see who was coming in and basically what was happening with that food bank and who was being served. And it seemed to me, first and foremost, it was a very critical thing to have in this community. But when you worked through the church, were able to get permission to build a building on the corner there where the new food bank is, it was just such a good idea because it does service a lot of people. And the previous food banks, and it was almost like there was competition between food banks, but one of them was charging money for people to take small amounts of food, and it just seemed to me that's not the right thing to do. We do have a community that, unfortunately, really needs service through a food bank. I wish we didn't, but we do. So your work in it, not just for me, but I know it's been not just enlightening, but it's been instrumental in creating a great surge of volunteerism throughout our community. And so I know the whole community has been behind it, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and they have actually, Randy. And yeah, one of the first partners actually is the City of Mission. It was when I'd had the building plans done and received the bill for roughly around $18,000. The city came up to bat within 2 weeks and donated back $16,000 of that back to the food bank. And I mean, that just shows how strongly the city has been behind this.
The other thing I guess it is a week or so ago, council visited the prisons here. We have the two jails.
Yes.
At Ferndale, or the minimum security, they have a very large garden. I don't know if you're aware of that. The Salvation Army has been operating the garden. Last year, they distributed about 170,000 pounds of vegetables out of that garden. Salvation Army now is, they can't afford to keep doing it. So there's another outfit, I think it's the Lookout Society, is looking at taking over that garden. But I think what we would like to do is working with yourself and the food bank, is to say that food is grown here. So maybe we should make sure that the needs of the food bank here are looked after before the food is distributed elsewhere, because we do have a need. It is grown here. And as the Archbishop said to me, eating local is pretty important nowadays, and that's about as local as you get. So
Yeah.
I think maybe our next project should be to make sure that we get more food out of that garden.
Well, that'd be great, Randy. I'd love working with you in the future and on this and other projects also. And I feel really privileged to be your friend. And yeah, I've always enjoyed your company and respected your attitudes towards those in need. And truth too, and that's one thing that I've always really had a lot of respect is the way you behave and the ways in which you believe are good.
Well, thanks, Ron. And I guess the only thing I could say is that, and I said that earlier today, this food bank would not have happened without you, and the diocese allowing you to create this project on their property. But you're the driver, and the city did fall in behind you. I don't mean the district mission. I mean the city, the people of this community, really, really fell in behind your work, and it has been noticed, and you'll be blessed for it.
Yeah, and I have been in many ways, Randy. And yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Ron.
Yeah, I have with me here Cully Poston. He's the food bank manager. Cully and I have worked together for the past 8 years. The past 6 years in construction of the food bank building, initially with Patrick Carey, and Patrick passed away a few years back, and Cully took over. There's not a week that goes by that Cully and I have not been on the phone, sometimes every day of the week, all to do with the food bank building, its construction, different issues that we've run across, different things that needed to be organized. And so Cully, out of anybody, has helped me really the most as far as time is concerned. So yeah, I'd like to ask Cully why he feels this food bank is so important.
Well, I know that the people of Mission certainly require it. I hate to say that that's the case, but it is the case. I also know I've seen children go hungry because in my other life as education, we had children coming to school that never had breakfast and never brought lunch. So after retirement, I was told that the food bank was in operation here, and both my wife and I went down and volunteered.
Oh, interesting. So you chose this parish in essence to some extent because of the food bank, or am I?
No, we didn't choose. We chose Mission because we had visited Mission many times before. And in choosing Mission, we just thought it was a nice place to live. After we got to the parish, that's when we found out they had a food bank.
Oh, I see. And then at that point in time, then you became involved in the food bank and have basically been running the food bank now for the past 3 or
That's right.
some more years.
Correct. Again, when Patrick passed away, he asked me just before he passed away if I'd take it over, and I said yes.
Yeah, and you've done a great job, Cully, and I know you've worked relentless hours in running the food bank and being of assistance to me, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, you've been a real pleasure to work with. Very patient man, and so I thank God for you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and although I'm doing the talking, I represent all the volunteers of the food bank. They're the people that require or need the accommodations because of everything that they do. Thank you very much, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome. And how many people do work with you, Cully?
About 50 altogether.
Yeah.
And we spend about 600 hours a month doing the various jobs of the food bank.
So very much labor intensive. It's not something that one man can do alone.
No, it would be impossible.
Yeah.
Just totally impossible.
But they do need a leader, and you've been a great leader for them.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I have Doug Ulmer with me. There have been 3 contractors involved in the creation of the food bank building. Wentworth Bjornson that built the foundation, and Terry Hildrum who did bringing the building to lock-up, which is framing, the roof and windows. And then I've had the pleasure to work with Doug in the completion of the inside of the building. And so I'd like to ask Doug why he feels working on this project and donating his time and effort is important.
Well, I've seen the stuff that you've been involved in, Ron, and I've always But, you know, that's a good character on your part, and I thought it'd be nice to help you out with one of your projects.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. And but beyond that, there must be something in your heart, I would think, that draws you to something like this.
Well, it does. It's good for the community. It helps out a lot of families, and I'm sure it helped out mine when I was young too, with a single mom and 4 boys. So,
Oh, okay. So in essence, I guess you possibly experienced this as a child then, in providing assistance to your family?
oh yeah, and it's nice to give back. So,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's all, and actually very much like Dan Bernier, the drywaller, very same story is that people that have made a success of themselves in their adult life wanting to give back.
yeah, it's a good feeling to give back to such a good cause, especially one that you've actually, you know, have used, you know, years ago. So.
Yeah, well, I thank you very much, Doug, for making this food bank a reality and for your input and hard work.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, hi, Georgia. Pleasure to have you here. Could you tell me why the food bank building here has been important for you?
I would say, simply put, God has blessed me in so many ways that I only feel it is my blessing to give back. He's taken care of me incredibly. I have more than I need, so therefore I need to share.
Yeah, and it's great that you have that sharing heart. I know many a times in the project, I've said this a lot, it was your checks actually that came in continually on every 2 weeks or once a month, especially at times when there wasn't money coming in, either none or very little. And that's always been an encouragement to me to know that there is somebody out there that really believes in this project and kind of kept me going and pushing forward. So I want to thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Linda Mitchell's here with me, and Linda was the president of the Kinsman Club at the time in which we started construction. She basically handed over the balance of the Kinsman funds that had been earned over many years. It was $16,000. It was actually the largest cash contribution at that time to see that we had the foundation finished. And then after that, Linda worked many, many hours organizing all of the fundraisers that we did in order to raise the additional monies that we'd needed in order to make this project a success. So, yeah, thanks, Linda. Very much appreciate our friendship and the help that you've done. And why is it that you feel that this is important?
I think from the moment that you showed me your plans and your vision was so inspirational and so encouraging and so needed that there was no way that I felt that I couldn't help. I had to be a part of it. So that was probably the most influential for me for getting involved, along with the fact that I remember as a child coming from a family of 9 brothers and sisters that we would receive an actual basket at Christmas, and that was an amazing, amazing gift. And so I'm very thankful that I'm able to give back.
And it is great, actually. Yeah, there's a number of people here that have been involved in the project. That's exactly what it's been, is that they've been a recipient now as adults, successful in their own occupations. They've been able to help. And so, yeah, thanks a lot, Linda.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm so happy I was a part of it, and I'm so thankful to see this day actually happen. Fantastic job, Ron. Way to stay with it. You did very well.
Eric Jackman's been part of the project right from the very beginning. It was Eric and I that basically looked for the spot in order to excavate and then start to get the trades together to do construction. Eric's connections with Vantage Contracting, his business here in Mission, have been superb, actually. Many of the people that worked on the project have come on because of Eric in many different areas. I can't even count them all. So I want to thank Eric for his help and ask him why he felt it was important to become involved in this project.
Well, Ron, it was only you that convinced me that this was a worthwhile project. I knew nothing of the food bank before you introduced the idea to me, and you gave a convincing proposal. You had done your homework, showed me the worthiness of the cause, and so I was unable to say no, and I'm certainly happy that I didn't say no, and it was a pleasure working with you. I probably wouldn't have got involved in anything like this if it hadn't been for your enthusiasm. So I really think you need to take a lot of credit for inspiring so many of us to be a part of this project and make it happen. And I congratulate you on your patience and determination. And I know there were a few times when we had to go to the bar and have a couple drinks to boost our encouragement, but congratulations for making it.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Yeah, and I've always enjoyed the time at the bar too. Yeah. No, it's been good. No, it's been actually, now that it's done, it's actually been a really great project. But like I say, if there's ever a definition of a good friend, Eric is it. And I thank God for Eric.
Well, thank you, Ron.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That means a lot.
Yeah, but it's true. Very true. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to thank Mike for his contribution. The largest single donation to the project came from Mike Donatelli. At a time, again, too, where I felt that, gee, I don't know how I'm going to do the next stage. I did the project in really 4 different stages. And Mike dropped by the office and said, look, I made a couple bucks here on this investment. How much do I have to donate in order to pay no tax? So I did a computation for Mike, and he says, well, I'll be by next week with the check. So anyway, next week came, Mike came in with the check, like I say, the very largest contribution of anybody. And I almost cried, actually, Mike. And so you've been very, very helpful to me in completing this. And I'd like to ask you why. Why did you want to do this, Mike?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. Your advice as an accountant was to give the money away. So where else should I go? Go back to the person who told me where to go.
Yeah, but I appreciate that, Mike. There's so many causes that you've been involved in our community. And I know you've helped many other organizations, too, to the same extent that you've helped us here at the food bank.
Yeah.
And I very much appreciate your generosity, as many others do in our community. Yeah, Chris has actually developed a video for the food bank that'll go to the Mission Archives. I've known Chris for many years. We go back 30 years in time. I've always known Chris to be very gracious and a loving kind of individual. So I want to know, Chris, why you decided to help us out here with your talents as a cameraman and editing.
Because I knew you since many years back, and I know that you had a great project going, and I wanted to be involved and see what I could contribute. That's the reason. And we started like 6 years ago, I think, with this video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And it's been fun, too. Like, it's just a gas working with you. Like, I enjoy it. Everything's been ad-lib. Like, I don't think there's anything I've ever said on camera that was written before.
No, everything is the natural way. Yeah.
It is, yeah. So, this video is going to be used as a history, I guess, for the city as well as the church and the archdiocese, and a gift to the various contributors. And so I think it's a great way to wrap up this whole project. Chris is on tape.
Yeah, I'll do my best to do a nice finish for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Will be done soon.
Okay.
With your help, though. You have to help me to edit it.
Yeah, absolutely, with a bottle of wine, usually.
Oh, yeah, or two.
Yeah, I have Ron St. Hilaire here with me. Ron's looked after the media for the project. He's from Cedar Valley Mennonite. one of the many parishioners actually that have helped out with this project to show that it isn't only the Catholic Church, but the Mennonite Church, the Mormons,
All of them.
other Christian churches in our community have basically banded together in order to see this project to completion. And as I say, Ron's been the fellow that's kept us out there in the media and kept the city alive and knowing what's going on. So I want to know, Ron, why did you pick us? Why did you help us?
Well, that's such an easy pick because the need is so great, unfortunately. That's the downside is that we do need food banks. And it's just great to be part of that. And I believe also the excitement of a new building is worth celebrating. And what is unique to Mission is the spirit of the people that serve, the people that come forward and volunteer. So many with open hearts, open minds, and obviously some open pockets too. And they've made it possible so that where there is a need, as biblically we're taught, there is also a response and the opportunity to help those people